everyone involved to their physical limits.
Where did they focus initially? The book mentions specific places.
Yeah, it highlights a few key hubs. Detroit, and you're thinking about labor, urban centers. Dallas, tapping into those shifting demographics in the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
New York, obviously crucial for fundraising, for media. And Nevada, always a key swing state.
And this wasn't just about showing up for a rally and leaving.
No, the book emphasizes this wasn't a typical whistle-stop tour. It was described as almost frantic, trying to shake as many hands as possible, be physically present. And this is important, listen to people's actual stories, their fears, their hopes, their economic anxieties, and then trying to weave all that local input into a coherent national message, basically on the fly, as they were moving from place to place.
That sounds exhausting. Just the logistics of synthesizing that feedback in real time.
Totally. And that physical grind, compressing a year's worth of travel into just over 3 months, definitely fed into the internal stress we'll talk about later.
Right. But sticking with the message for a second, all this rapid movement, all this strategy, it seems like it was all happening under the shadow of one single constant question from the media, from pundits, maybe even from within the campaign.
Oh yeah, that question followed her everywhere. Every interview, every rally scrum, probably every internal briefing. Can you win?
Just blunt, can you win?
Exactly. And the book frames that question as almost a weapon. Like it was designed to sow doubt, to stop any momentum before it started, to make people skeptical that anyone could pull this off under these conditions. It was like the party's own anxiety staring back at them.
And her response became the mantra, right? The defining slogan for the whole 107 days. It wasn't just an answer, it was a strategy.
Absolutely. That phrase, we don't have time for fear, we have 107 days for faith.
It's powerful.
It really is. The book portrays it as this brilliant move, like political jujitsu. It did a couple of key things instantly.
Okay, what were they?
First, it didn't shy away from the 107 days. It owned the timeline, right?
Right.
Didn't try to pretend it wasn't a factor.
Acknowledged the reality.
Exactly. And second, by swapping fear for faith, she just completely flipped the script. It shifted the whole conversation away from can she overcome the obstacles towards do you believe? It demanded conviction, not calculation.
That's a really interesting pivot. Let's dig into that a bit more. How did 107 Days for Faith actually work strategically? How did it help stabilize things?
Well, the sources suggest it functioned almost like marching orders for the team, for supporters. By making faith the key word, she was basically telling everyone, stop looking at the scary poll numbers, stop obsessing over the lack of prep time, and focus on why we're doing this. The moral case.
Ah, okay.
It tried to turn what felt like a chaotic, improvised scramble into something more like a mission, a movement driven by belief. And practically, it gave them a really simple, repeatable answer for the press that kind of shut down that whole "is she ready?" line of questioning.
Because questioning her meant questioning the faith itself.
Sort of, yeah. It reframed doubt as a lack of belief in the possibility of success in the future.
Yeah.
It turned that compressed timeline from being just a disadvantage into being a reason for accelerated purpose, for urgent action. Okay, having a strong message like faith is one thing. The day-to-day reality of those 107 days, the sources make it clear, it was absolutely brutal, a real gauntlet of external pressure.
Let's break down that gauntlet. The book mentions the debates were fierce. What made them so tough? What were opponents hitting her on?
The sources indicate they hammered her relentlessly on two main fronts. First, her record as VP, specifically going after decisions on the economy, on border security, things she was directly tied to.
Okay.
And second, her own political history before being VP, her time as a prosecutor, as Attorney General. That record was scrutinized intensely.
And because the campaign was so rushed, she didn't have months to prep detailed defenses for every possible attack line.
Exactly. A normal campaign spends ages workshopping answers, testing responses. She was often having to respond instantly under the brightest lights with very little backup prep, always felt like she was on the defensive.
And it wasn't just opponents and debates. The whole media environment sounded pretty challenging.
Toxic is a word that comes to mind from the descriptions.